Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Joshi episode 24. We love it so much. We're going to do it some more. My name is Matt Turner. Folks, I'm joined by the one, the only, my great friend, your great friend, Sendai Girls' own one, Andy Header. Andy Header, how are we doing
Hello.
on this chilly, windy, and rainy day today?
Snowy in some parts. I've seen a little bit of snow, so I'm doing good. I'm feeling good today. But I had to work long the other day, so when you work really long one day and then the next day you don't work long, it feels so nice. It's like I'm done already. This is wonderful. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Sec.
Oh, oh, oh.
Can you hear
You got
me?
a little. Yeah, yeah. Did you cut out? It's our newfangled interface here.
Here,
I
we're
can hear
good.
you.
We're good. For some reason, I
Okay.
thought my microphone and the wire came off.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
jeez.
my bad.
No problem.
I gave it the old forearm. We'll leave it in there.
Yeah,
That's
why
the
not?
joy of doing podcasting. When I was in the gym this morning, it was snowing out pretty good. So it was
Really?
around a
Wow.
little bit before five, but yeah, a little bit before 6 o'clock. It was snowing. It was coming down pretty well. Then on my drive into work, it just turned to rain. So it is that time of the year, my man. It is
hmm
the third week of November. So here in northeastern Pennsylvania, we can get the snow. We can get the snow from time to time. So hey, that's just the joys of living over here
Yeah,
in
in
northeastern
the mountains.
Pennsylvania.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I I don't mind
you're
it
not
though.
kidding, buddy.
Like I have
No,
four-wheel drive, so let it snow.
I enjoy all four seasons. Let it snow, like the sound.
hmm
So I actually hold on. It looks like I just realized when I knocked my microphone off, it automatically went to my camera.
Really?
Yes, do I sound better now?
Yeah. Now you're much clearer. Yeah. So before you were like tinny, kind of like you're talking on a phone, like or in a hallway or something. Now you're much clearer. So yeah, that's the technical struggles of podcasting. But we're only 2 minutes in, so just think if we did it after 40 minutes, it'd be bad. But 2 minutes in ain't so bad.
No, I noticed that from time to time my mic settings will go to the mic will be coming out of the camera, not my fancy mic. So it's a good thing I have a
Ah.
producer. Gary Delabate is my producer, my man. So yeah. Hey, boss.
Hello, hello, hello.
Buddy, obviously today we were talking about one massive show from Sendai Girls. But before we do that, we're gonna go around the horn of what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. I figured no
hmm
better place to start than our trip to New York, my friend. Which, by the way,
Yes.
the big event did announce about an hour or so ago that they'll be back. I think March 17th of next
Wow.
year. So
St. Patrick's Day, right? How about
I
that?
think yeah, right
That's
around there,
St.
right?
Patrick's Day, yeah. Yeah. It's either
Yeah,
16th or 17th. I don't know. I'm not Irish, so I don't keep track.
what they 316. So it'll be
360. There we
317.
go.
There you go, Stone Cold Day. But the big event in New York. Now, myself and Rob talked about this very briefly on the Marigold Standard earlier this week. But obviously, Andy Header, you were there with me in tow. So
hmm
let's and a lot of people asked, I cannot wait for you guys to talk about it on Talk Joshi. You asked folks, we're gonna give it to you. So basically, we get to New York for the big event, and we get in line for the Stinger, Andy Header. And Andy Header, that line wasn't moving. That line
No,
really wasn't moving for the first half hour.
it was a little slow there. So what? The doors opened at 10. We probably got at 10:15. They did some type of pre-sale or VIP thing where if you paid more, you got in a little earlier. But I don't know what the benefit was there, unless you're just meeting someone real quick that didn't have a line. Because we got in Sting's line, we were what? I don't know, 40 people deep. And I think we didn't meet Sting. We got line 10:15. We probably didn't meet Sting until about 12:30 because we were getting worried because he had a pro photo op at 1 o'clock. So like, we might not get him. We might be right down to the wire. And I think we were. I think there's a couple other people. But man, Sting, he signed and took pictures all day long. He didn't stop. His line was not him and AJ Lee probably were rivals for the longest lines at this con. But man, Sting was just pounding it out. I mean, we seen people bring up several items, like the two guys that brought what was like 30 things to sign, which people are like, that's not fair. But like you said at the con there, hey, they're paying for it. So it's not like a Comic Con where you go up to a writer and you say, hey, can you sign these 30 books for free? No, them guys that paid to have Sting sign 30 different figures, that's $100 each. So that's a lot of money for the old Stinger. So good for him. But hey, he was nice. He signed everything. He talked to everybody, and he stayed the whole time. So I mean, you can't complain there. So Sting was really cool.
Yeah, really cool opportunity. And the last time with the face paint on the East Coast, so it was kind of
Yeah.
a now or never. And he's been at the New York Comic Cons a few times, and it was just,
hmm
yeah, we'll kind of get him next time. We'll kind of get him next time. Like, oh, there might not be a next time, so let's get this done. Yeah, he was great, an absolute workhorse signing things. And then Andy had
hmm
our second meet and greet of the day. my opinion, the best meet and greet of the
Mm-hmm.
day, Tekla. We talked to Tekla quite a bit about the blood and guts match, which we're going to get into, because I want to get your kind of opinion and review on it after this little segment about us talking about the big event in New York. But we got to meet Tekla, and she was absolutely fantastic, really, really
Yes.
entertaining as well.
Yeah, she was very nice, and we went up to her. I think we were like what second in line, so there was no long wait for Tekla at all. And you asked her right about her art, and then she goes into how she wants to do a comic book, but she wants to do the whole thing. That was right up her alley. It's like this is awesome. Tekla wants to do a comic book, and she's like, if you know anybody at DC or Marvel, it's like, well, maybe, but yeah, that'd be awesome to see Tekla do her own comic that she writes and draws the whole thing. So that was awesome. And then I forgot the very first thing when we went up. She's like, hey guys, and she showed us her scratches from her barbed wire kendo stick that she took in the cage match that we'll talk about, the blood and guts. So it's like, oh wow, and she was all proud about it. And then she is like what, maybe 5'1", 5'2". She's small, but I was like, wow, them scratches are pretty crazy there. But yeah, she was very nice, and you asked her some stardom questions, and I believe she said in one part, you know your SH
You can
blah
say
blah.
it because
Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
said it
did
on
we
when I
sponsor?
forgot. Yeah,
Oh, okay. There we go. Well, we give like a movie, where you can say it like what a couple times and you get the F word once, but we
you're
won't say that.
good.
Anyway, she said you know your shit about Stardom. It's like a little bit, a little bit, and then you had her sign to what a program, and then some of the artwork that what's
Matt Charlton.
Matt Charlton. I was like, what's Chris Charlton's brother's name? Yeah, he did that awesome artwork of Tekla, and she signed that, and then she signed the program. Yeah, but she was really cool. Took the picture with us. So I mean, if you get a chance to meet Tekla, I mean, she's very nice. She's very down to earth, and then she wanted to talk to, which is cool. And it's kind of like with a lot of them, when you mention Japan, it kind of gets them going. Like, oh, rather than just we say, hey, AEW, you and the Sisters of Sin. We were talking Stardom and everything. And she might have said, I don't know. So it was a fun time meeting Tekla. So yeah, that was probably the best interaction we had at the con. But yeah, definitely fun. So if you get a chance to meet Tekla, do it.
Yeah, I have literally watched, noted, and podcasted about every single Tekla match in Stardom.
Wow, how
Yes,
about that?
because I started the podcast. I started on the Stardom cast the end of 2021. She started in 2022. So every single Tekla match in Stardom, I have noted, rated, and podcasted. So
Wow.
yes, I definitely know my stuff about Tekla. When I mentioned that promo she cut on
Mhm.
Saya Kamatani at the end of the conversion last year that may or may not have sent her over the edge to do, by her I mean Saya
Yeah.
Kamatani, to do the Phoenix Queen character. And I did say maybe you should get some of that merch money because
Yeah.
technically you were the spark that set up the dynamite that is one
Hmm.
Saya Kamatani. Andy had I'm kind of going order in my head. I believe the next one we met was the Jumping Bomb Angels. I believe that was next.
Yes. We walked around the building. It was a big gym, so if anyone hasn't been there, big gymnasium, and they did have the ring set up because there was a House of Glory show later at night that Mercedes was going to wrestle at. I believe she wrestled. Was it no? Priscilla Kelly wrestled Chelsea Green. Uh, I forget. But sorry. Oh, she wrestled some. I don't know her name, but she won another title, added another title to her list. So that was at the House Square. So sure, there was a ring in the middle, and like all the wrestlers were around. There were some vendors and stuff. But we went over to the Jumping Bomb Angels. They had a handler because I don't think they speak very much English. And they had a bunch of pictures and stuff. And they also had what was really cool. They had the WWF titles, the tag titles, and another set of tag titles. And then when we said, "Can we get a picture?" We went up to them, and they were very nice. And they actually picked up the belts and was holding the belts. So that was pretty cool that we got the picture with the Jumping Bomb Angels and them holding the two tag titles. And then I said, "Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much." In Japan, they said it back. So that was pretty cool.
I think it was the WWWA or the All Japan
Oh,
Women's.
was it? I thought, yeah, okay.
It was one of the bigger ones. And again, my Joshi knowledge starts from 2021 until now. So I'm still trying to go through
Yeah.
the backlog of stuff. I'm getting really familiar with a lot of the stuff in the 90s with that, with the Aja Kong, Bull Nakano,
Hmm.
Miami, Toyota, Kira Hokuto stuff. So I'm trying, guys. There's only so much time in the day. There really is only
Yeah.
so much
I
time
mean,
in the
that
day.
stuff is really good. Shout out to the Vintage Pro Racer on Twitter or X. They post a lot of awesome clips of old Joshi, which is really cool.
Yeah, we did put over how much we liked their match at the very first Royal Rumble, the 2 out of 3
Hmm.
fall match with the Glamour Girls, Judy Martin and Leilani Kai, managed by Jimmy Martin. Which actually a little trivia here, little knowledge for you. The first Royal Rumble was not on pay-per-view; it was free on the
Yeah.
USA Network, and it was only 20 people, not 30, which Hacksaw Jim Duggan eliminated the one-man gang
Yes.
to win. So
And if you go back and watch that one, they were very, very strict on kayfabe at the time. So no good guy hits another good guy. So the faces only hit heels, and then vice versa. No heels interact with each other. It's pretty crazy when you think about it with 20 guys. And it was probably right down the middle, 10-10, right? I forget off the top of my head. But going back and watching, I'm like, this is a little weird, which they quickly abandoned it for the next Royal Rumble.
Indy headed for a king size Fifth Avenue, which I know that you love. Can you tell me what the opening match was on the very first Royal Rumble?
Opening match. Was it Tito versus somebody? I have no idea. That's
You're
my
right. It
guess.
was no, it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Ravishing Rick Rude. What a
Ooh,
way!
that's a great opener.
You look back at, and I haven't seen that show in a long time, but I remember watching on VHS over and over and over and over. Rick Rude
Hmm.
and Ricky Steamboat was amazing, and the Jumping Bomb Angels versus the Glamour Girls, 2 out of 3 falls, was amazing. I have not seen that show, and it's got to be close to 20 years. The finish
Yeah.
of the Jumping Bomb Angels versus the Glamour Girls was the Jumping Bomb Angels hitting double stereo missile drop kicks, which
Yep.
nobody's when you only watch
At the
WWF and you're a
time,
kid, yeah,
yeah.
you're not seeing anybody do one, let alone two at the same time. So
Yeah.
as a 5 or 6 year old kid, absolutely blew my mind. Andy Header, speaking of mind blowing stuff, we leave the Jumping Bomb Angels. We go just a few feet to the right, where we get another legend, WWE
Hmm.
Hall of Famer Medusa, also known as Alundra Blaze. Allison Danger did tell me earlier that day, go meet her, tell her I said hi. She's an absolute sweetheart. And she was an
Yes.
absolute sweetheart.
She's very funny, and she's a little cocky too, which is kind of funny. We did inquire about her possibly doing a podcast, so she was like, "Yeah, yeah, I should be for it." So just email her. So like anytime we ask her a question, she'd be like, "Save it for the podcast. I got a good one." But she did show us. Someone gave her her first time in the Tokyo Dome a ticket from that event she had, which was really cool, and we got the picture with that. And then she had the infamous WWF Women's title that she threw in the garbage can. But like, we don't want to talk about it. We want to hear about the Japanese stuff, her versus Bull and her versus Akira. Like that's the stuff we want to hear about. She was very nice. I tried desperately to find her elite at the time, and I couldn't find. I found the basic. I don't want to get the basic signed. And Evan said I tried to find her toy, and she's like, "Which one?" So she actually knows all 4 of them. She's like, "There's 4 of them." I was like, "One of the elites." So hopefully next time I'll get to meet her, get an elite sign. But yeah, she was really nice. So if you get the chance to meet Medusa slash Alondra Blaze, whatever you want to call her, meet her because she's really cool. And I like how she did say all the figures. She's like, I'm always wearing that outfit, and I have my red, white, and blue one. I have the other one I wore in Japan, but they always put me in that white and flames one. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, she was very nice.
Yeah, because I think as Alundra Blaze, that's what she's known as Medusa. She's kind of with the American one. So yeah,
Yeah.
she had the ticket stub from the Big Egg Dome show, that 8 hour show. And I did say, you're on towards the end. What was that like? And she would say, save it for the podcast, save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
So she did tell me what her email address was. And I'm like, oh, it's probably just on all of her social media. But the social media stuff, that's to get her for Booker for a book appearance, which I have emailed her 2 or 3
Oh,
times in the last few years. So I was like, I don't know if this is it. So I just went on the website and hit the contact information. Worst case scenario, I'm just
very
going to
good.
ask Allison Danger.
I was just gonna say maybe ask
That's it.
Allison.
I'll
She'll
ask
help
Allison
a
that.
little brother, and she'll help out there.
Yeah, Allison's the absolute best. So yeah, obviously we were going to try to get one Medusa Lunderblaze on the show sometime
Hmm.
soon. Then after that, we circled back around, could not find Mina Shirakawa. And the reason why Indy
Nope.
had her is she went to AEW to do some promo work with one Tony Storm. And I believe tonight
Yeah.
is Tony Storm and Mina versus Alex Windsor and Riho. So I know
Oh yeah, I think it is.
Dynamite is loaded. We have Shibata versus Hangman Adam Page. So once we get done with this, we have another podcast to do, and then I have
Hmm.
some Stardom catch up to do. Probably why I have AW on. So I'm going to be overloaded with wrestling.
The
But
double.
as I always say, buddy, there's no such thing as too much wrestling. Too much
No.
wrestling. So after that, Andy Header, again, we kind of circled. We didn't see. We asked around, could not find Mina Shirakawa. However, we went back to where Tekla was, and we saw one Maki Ito. We got to meet one
Hmm.
Maki Ito, and she was absolutely hilarious.
Yes, she was very nice. And like I said, Maki, we love Tokyo Joshi Pro. Forgetting that she left, and she said, "But I quit." I was like, "Well, we still like it." So it was cool. And then she does the pose where she flips off the camera, doing the little teardrop thing. But yeah, she was very nice. And then you asked her which tag team was better, the Magical Sugar Rabbits or Daisy Monkey,
I
and
did. Oh
that
my
was
god,
pretty.
I forgot to
Yeah.
mention that on when Rob asked me. Yeah, and she said the
Oh.
magic. She did say the magical sugar rabbits, which we will get into. There's a possibility of magical sugar rabbits reunion coming up on
Hmm.
1/4. before
Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom. So that, again, we're going to get into that before we talk about this Lone Sendai Girls show. So yeah, she was great. And then we walked right over to one Shayna Baszler. Obviously, Shayna Baszler is
Yeah.
one of
Who
my
was?
favorite wrestlers, one of the most legit wrestlers in the scene today. And you know what? I know that once we left the building, I'm like, there's something I forgot to ask Shayna about. I asked her about her and Shuri, her and
Mm,
Stardom. She said she wants to go back to
Bloodsport.
Stardom. She wants to do a Bloodsport match with Shuri. You know, she was adamant going back to Japan and wrestling the girls in
And
Stardom.
didn't she say she
Yes.
went to wrestle Sayori too? Or
Yeah,
someone said that.
that was Tekla. Tekla, she
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
wrestle
Yeah.
Soriano. Yeah, because I asked Tekla who has she had not had a singles matchup that she wanted to have, and it was Soriano was 1A and Shuri was 1B.
Mm.
But yeah, like we said, Momo, we threw out a bunch of names. She's like, there's a crop of Stardom talent. It's really, really impressive right now, and she would love to go back to do a tour or two for Stardom. So hopefully we do see the Queen of Spades back in Stardom sometime soon. But I completely forgot to ask her about catch wrestling.
Oh,
It was like there's something I wanted to ask her. I got so in depth. I got so in deep and her versus Shuri because probably the two most legit wrestlers on the female scene right now. Obviously Shayna
hmm
Baszler and Shuri both spending time in the UFC. So maybe Andy Header, we put that out on the ether. We will get Shayna Baszler versus
man, never know.
Shuri. Andy Header, before we wrap up this segment, my friend, you got to meet an old friend of yours, former AEW Women's Champion, one Nyla Rose, and she was as excited to see you as I was,
Yeah.
my friend, because I was like, oh wow. I was like, I completely forgot that you guys were on a whole bunch of shows, like
hmm
right before the COVID time.
Yeah, like right when she was breaking in, we did a bunch of shows. We almost had a match together too, but it never panned out. But yeah, we were walking down. I forgot she was there. I would have took her figure to get signed. And we're walking down, and we're just looking, and like she looks at me, and I look at her, and it's that like second one. Like, wait a minute, I just point, and she like gets this big smile on her face. And it's like what? And of course, I went over. We hugged and said I haven't seen her because it's been a couple years since I seen her, and we were catching up and everything. And I do the old, hey brother, can I get a picture? Like, and of course, I got a little free ski picture there with her. But yeah, I was talking to her about possibly wrestling at the Colossal Con. She said she really wants to do that, so we have to see what the legalities of being a contractor wrestler and wrestling for a Colossal Con. But yeah, it was really cool to see her again because I haven't seen her in person in quite a few years. We talk here and there, and she's like, "Make sure you message me, like, because you don't see someone for a while, you kind of forget about me, you don't message. So yeah, I got to keep up with her." And I was like, as my cat just knocked over a video game there. Um,
Stone
the Last
Cold,
Jedi fight.
Stone
Yep,
Cold.
yep. Stone Cold and the poster. Wow, he's going for it. Yeah, so it was cool catching up with her again and seeing her. And then I asked about her being on the podcast. But a lot of times, contract wrestlers, you have to go through the office, and the office can take a long time. So, guys, we got a lot of possible interviews in the bag, but who knows if the powers that be will let us. But yeah, it was really cool to see Nyla again, and hopefully, get her on the Colossal Con show one day.
Yeah, I did say she goes, well, you need to email and I'm not going to say the email people because I don't want
Yeah,
to bury anybody. And I said, this is the email address I use. And she's like, try it again and I'll try to poke and prod and be like, hey, I
yeah,
really
she's
want to do
gonna,
this. So
yeah,
hopefully, and then because I think she said, how many times have you emailed them? I said, over the last 3 years, probably about 2 dozen times. So
yeah.
no,
That's how it is, though. When you're not on the radar of them and they don't know who you are, it's very hard to get through sometimes. But hey,
well,
hopefully we will.
the idea is to get on the radar. We're going to keep circling that
hmm
door between before we
Hey,
eventually kick it in. Go
speaking
ahead,
of,
sir.
I totally forgot on the radar. Our picture with the jumping bomb angels, they shared it on their Twitter, which was really cool. They had like
Yeah.
a collage and they posted. I was like, that's really cool. And I tagged Maki Ito in our picture, and she liked it, so that was very cool too.
There we go. There we
hmm
go, my man. There we go. So again, really great stuff. Anything else about the big event in New York that you want to talk about before we get into our next segment, good sir?
Just a fun con if you're looking to meet wrestlers and not so long lines. Yeah, if it's a big star, AJ Lee, Sting, Goldberg had a fairly long line. But other people like Tekla, and you walk right up to Killer Cross and Scarlett, looked like they really were being very cordial with everybody, and people were just walking right up, small line there. But a lot of the legends, you just walk right up. So it's a very good wrestling con. It is only a wrestling con, so if you go expecting something else, you'll be disappointed. But it's one of the better wrestling cons around, and they run it twice a year at the same building, and it's right off outside the city. It's in Long Island technically, but New York City. But yeah, it's a fun time, and we'll go again. So looking forward to it.
Oh, no, I forgot. We met the Great Muta, and then he asked what
Oh,
color to
how do
sign
we
it in.
forget? Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
we asked because that's how we ended it.
yeah,
He asked what color to sign it, and you told him green in Japanese, and he looked up like
yeah,
you popped him. Like, look at Andy
yeah.
Header popping the Great Muta.
I know. How about that? We were waiting there because Moon was an older guy. He took a little break, and we were waiting for him to come back. And then the time I went, I grabbed the same Muda figure that you have, the Elite, where he's like kind of wearing like orange and red. And I was like, I'm gonna get signed. I think it will look really cool in green. And then we get up there, and Muda's like, Hey, Muda, how you doing? And he says hello, and he's like, Which one? And I said, not even thinking, Midori, like it's just green in Japanese. He's like, Ah, Midori, this one, that one. And I was like, that one. So he signed it in green. That was really cool because I'm sure nobody else said Midori, which is Japanese for green, obviously. So no one probably said that. Probably like, oh, give me red, and he was like, oh. So, but yeah, it was a cool meet, and we got the picture with Muda too, doing the thing that his pose that he do right before he hit the Shining Wizard. So that's one of the guys that you like last year we got. Tenzon, which was really cool because how many times has Tenzon come to the U.S., especially nowadays? And the same with Great Muta, who he may never come back to the U.S., so it was cool to get a figure sign. I wish I had it so I could show the camera right here, but it's upstairs. But yeah, that was really cool. How could we forget the Great Muta? And there was a cool thing they did. It was a pro photo op, which we didn't get, where it was Sting and Great Muta, and Muta put the gear on too. So that was a really cool photo op. So I guess we technically didn't meet Great Muta. We met Kenji Muto.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I wonder. I could look at that signature. Did he sign it the Great Muda or did he sign it
I
KG
think
Muda?
I think he signed Muta, but hey, who cares?
It's funny because we were talking about that, and I was like, you know what? I have an EO Sareee autograph thing with, but it was a few months ago when she's EO Sky. So did she sign it Sareee or Sky? Who knows? Because we were talking about last year when we met Mercedes Monet, and a lot of people in her line had Sasha Banks stuff. So I'm like, you figured you want to get that signed Sasha Banks, not Mercedes
Yeah,
Monet. Or you can have one of the, you can be like, hey, this is rare because it's a Sasha Banks pop, but it's autographed by Mercedes Monet. So
yeah, you
you could
could.
throw or her name in Star Wars, whatever, I forget what it was. The few times she
Oh,
was in Star Wars.
not Jin Orso. I
She did
forget. Yeah,
she has a pop out. 'Cause I noticed
she does.
when we went to the year I met her at Comic-Con 2 years ago, there's a lot of people in line that had the pop, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's her as her gimmick in
Yeah,
Star
her
Wars." Good stuff.
Mandalorian.
But
But
I
I don't.
guess
I believe I was gonna say I believe the pop has her helmet on, but then there's a figure where she doesn't have the helmet on. So that'd be
ooh.
cool to get signed.
Yeah, and then she's got 2. You got the variant or the chase, and you had her.
Yes.
Or the chase.
Hmm.
And you had her. Speaking of Mercedes Monet, she was in a little match called Blood and Guts. What a great way to
Hmm.
start off this show. And it was 3 matches and a Ricky Steamboat promo, which I was
Yeah.
all for. The matches were very ECW style, and Ricky Steamboat
Yes.
is a very technical wrestler. So I thought that was, hey, it added everything in there. I thought this was great. I thought the women's match was, but the men's was great. Don't get me wrong. I thought the women's match was better. And maybe it's recency bias, but just kind of going through all the blood and guts matches in my head, I think it's the best one that they've ever done in the history. I think this is the number 5 and number 6
Third.
that
Yeah.
they did, something like that. But I mean, this was absolutely crazy, and everything made sense. Like Sky Blue comes in there, and she's on an absolute bloody mess about 2 minutes in. Like Willow looked great, Harley Cameron looked great. There was that superplex spot that Megan Bain and Willow did in
Yeah.
between the rings, which was crazy.
Double
They did,
apron. Oh.
yeah, there was wild. Marina Shafir kicks Chris Statlander, and she lands on the bed of nails, and then Chris Statlander the next day shows her back. It looked like just like a pin cushion. I was like,
Yeah.
that was all sorts of crazy. The Tony Storm Mina stuff was it. Not only was it crazy, it was cool and it meant something to the story. Like the
Hmm.
finish was terrific with Mina putting, was it Tekla in the figure 4 with the baseball bat?
Oh yeah, with the it was baseball bat or the kendo stick wrapped in barbed wire, which was really cool. That's a creative spot too.
Yeah, and then Marina, who took her shoes off, stomps in the glass and then uses the glass to break up Mina in the figure 4 and then basically locks her in an arm triangle while Megan Bain is whipping. I think it was Megan Bain was whipping Mina and making Tony watch. But Tony had to submit, basically
Yeah, she
get
gave
to
up.
stop the beating. So I'm like, they are clearly putting the tag belts on Mina and Tony because that's the big comeback. That's the big
Yeah.
pop that you get. But I thought this was great. Again, it wasn't just sometimes you have your spot fest and you have your blood fest just because I think you want to appease a certain part of the audience. There were so many stories that they told in this match, and everything was great. Like even Mercedes Monet, probably the biggest star in this match, she didn't do much and she didn't need to. Like she came out with all of her belts, put them on
Hmm.
a table that just happened to be there. I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen with this table?
Yeah.
She hit her, she did a couple things. She hit her dance. She fought a puppet, which they got the puppet in, and it made sense, and it got a reaction. And she did a few things, and then she took a bump off, basically off the lighting fixture through a table, and that was it. Like everything she did made sense, but like she laid out for everybody else to have their moments in
Hmm.
this match, which I thought was absolutely genius. Like the way that she was used in this match was terrific. It was for anybody that subscribes to our YouTube channel over at the Stardom Cast, and you should. It's free. Every Saturday, I post my top 5 favorite matches from the past week, and I give my star ratings. This match for me was number one, and it was 5 stars.
Yeah.
I had it 5 stars. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the match was really good. First, I'll say the men's, nothing against the men's, but the men's was kind of a slow burn at first. The first half of it was really slow, but then like the last, I'd say at least 5 minutes, maybe in 10 minutes, really picked up. The men's was really good by the end, and then Hangman versus Hobbs was a good like brawl around the ring ECW match. But what the only problem that had is it followed the women's war games, blood and guts, whatever you want to call it. It followed that, so it's like, oh, after I seen all that, like it's not as cool. Like it was a main event by its own. It would be like that was awesome. But the women's blood and guts was really good. All the spots, I thought Marina probably came out looking like her and Sky Blue probably came out looking way better than when they went in, especially Marina just being a badass, stomping her foot in the glass and stopping Mina with it. And then the Tony Storm did the Taipei Death match spot with the glass initially, and so many cool spots there. And the one that I said at Tech Lab, I was like, it was really a cool idea when you and Julie Hart crawled out the little holes and escaped the cage and went out. That was cool. And she was said like beforehand, she was looking at the cage like, I think we can crawl through that hole. And she's like, if I could do it, Julie could do it. She's smaller than me. So that was cool. I liked how when Mercedes had the belts, she was throwing all the different belts in, and everyone was using a belt as a weapon. I thought that was kind of cool, and all the Indians were like, "Oh, that's my belt on, AEW Dynamite." So that's cool. Um, the bed of nails was crazy, and there was when Chris Statlander posted that picture, there's like one that you could tell that's where she hit initially because that's the deepest, and like a bed of nails, like, oh, I wouldn't want to take that, but yeah, that superplex in between the two rings on both aprons, like they say, the apron's the hardest part. As a superplex off the top that Megan Bain gave to Willow, that was the one bump in the whole match. I'd do everything else before I do that because that sucked. I'd take the mirror that Tony Storm took in the face. I'd take any of the kendo stick shots, but that sucked. But I know Sky Blue got a couple T-shirts coming out of this, so good for her, making some merch money. Bleeding, get like they said, the Muta scale. She was bleeding. Mina was bleeding. That was the first time I see Mina bloody. Um, who else was? I don't think Tony Storm was. Chris Statlander. But
Megan
yeah,
Bain.
Megan Bain was bleeding. So yeah, it was a crazy match. It was really good, and it was the first match on the show. So yeah, it is kind of like top that. And it's like it's a little hard, but the show was really good. A lot of people say the best Dynamite in a while, and I think, like you said, recently biased. It has to be the best Blood and Guts so far. I mean, they were all good, but that one is up there. And then recently, that I remember that one NXT with the War Games with the Undisputed Era. That was really good. That ended with Tommaso Ciampa hitting the air raid crash off the top of the cage with Adam Cole. That would probably be the second best one that I can remember in some time. But yeah, I know the WWE War Games are coming up, and I don't see him getting anywhere close to this, but I'm sure he'll do something really cool in it. But yeah, the women's Blood and Guts, if you go back and watch one match from last week, let it be that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Is your kitty crying?
I
What's
don't
that
know. It
noise?
sounded like he's right here. It
I want to
sounded like it
make.
was him.
I don't know
Yeah,
if it's your
he's
cat
all
or,
right.
or if I just want to
Yeah.
make sure it's either your cat or my cat.
Oh,
So.
yeah. No, he's right here, and the other one is who knows where, but he knocked over that game and he took off.
That's it. He
That's the
got his
life of a
move.
cat
He got
owner.
his move. He got his move in, and he got.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if
There
it
you go. I'm done.
was if it Jabroni or Ace, because sometimes Ace will
Yeah.
be like, he'll come at the door. Yeah, the life of a cat. Oh, yeah, you're right. Andy, Header, before we get into this show, it was announced from Tokyo Joshi Pro that there's going to be a return on the
Mm-hmm.
big show on 1/4 in Corkin Hall, January 4th. Tokyo Joshi Pro always has a big show in Corkin Hall right before the Tokyo Dome because the Tokyo Dome is it's about a half a quarter of a mile walk,
Mm-hmm.
half a mile walk. So they do a great job putting on a big show. We do know that we do have, I think, for the fourth or fifth year in a row, Hyper Misao versus Shoko Nakajima. The main event, which
Mm-hmm.
was set up on the last Tokyo Joshi Pro, Suzumi will be challenging Miyu Watanabe for the Princess of Princess Championship. And we do have the return of one Yuka Yamazaki coming back, or Yuka Sakazaki, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Yukas in the
There.
Joe. Yes, there's a lot of
Yuki. Yeah.
yes. Yuka is coming back to Tokyo Joshi Pro for a match on that show, which I'm super excited
Mm-hmm.
for because I will be at said show. Tickets are already
Yes.
purchased, so super excited for that. I know me and you were texting back and forth. Who would she wrestle? I would obviously, Miyu Yamashita would be a great pull. I would like to see a one night reunion of the Magical Sugar Rabbits. I would like to see Mizuki and Yuka, or maybe Mizuki versus Yuka. That's
Oh,
a
that's
really
a
good
good one.
possibility. But I think if you're going to elevate one wrestler on the roster from being in this match, very much like when Kyrie came back in 2022, her first singles match was against Starlight Kid. So even though Starlight Kid ate the L, she is on a big show with a big star like Kyrie. So that
Hmm.
obviously, and Starlight Kid, since 2022 has been doing a-okay for herself. Andy
Yeah,
had her on there. She's
not
doing
bad.
all right. So
Yeah.
I think that if you're bringing Yuka back for this one show and you want to elevate somebody, I think it's got to be Yuki Aino. I think
Oh,
that's the
nice.
person that you elevate. But let's say you, my man, what do you think about Yuka coming back on this show? And if you were booking, would you do a singles? Would you do a tag? Would you do a six person? Like, where would you like to see you? There's a lot of great possibilities. And what's great about
Hmm.
there's more than one right answer.
Yeah, it's great to see her back first, and it makes you think because they said signed to AEW, but AEW doesn't do a whole lot with her. I mean, ROH, which is, nothing against ROH, but no one's really watching that, so no one knows. And then she came back. She had the one match with, I believe, was it Chris Statlander or Mercedes? I forget. She got one title shot recently within the past year, and that was it for her AEW appearances the whole year. So
Mercedes. She
yeah,
wrestled
yeah.
Mercedes and it was great, and they didn't do anything with her afterwards.
Yeah, I think she did a tag match in ROH, and that's it. So it's like, oh boy, you have her signed, why not? So I guess she's just over in Japan getting checks for free. But anyway, come back to Tokyo Joshi Pro. So I'd like to see her and Mizuki have a tag match. Uh, I don't know against who. Bob Bob Momo Banana. I know they're not in Sendai Girls, or they're in Sendai Girls, but send them over. That would be awesome. But who knows? They work together, but sometimes they don't work together. So who knows? But yeah, if I could get a tag match with her, Mizuki, Magical Sugar Rabbits, and then getting a new shirt and everything, that would be pretty cool. But her in a singles match, it's obviously won't be wrestling Shoko because Shoko's wrestling Hyper Masao, and she won't be wrestling Miyu Watanabe. So I don't know who I put her against. Yuki Aino, the other Yuki, not Yuki
Kamafuki?
Kamifuji. Yeah, not her because she's in Uber Eats. There's another Yuki. What Yuki Ira? The one that's the USA one they call it. That does the Uncle
Oh,
Slam.
Yuki Arai. Oh, that's a
Yuki
great, great
Arai.
match.
There we
Yeah,
go. Sorry.
Yuki
Maybe
Arai
her
is
versus Yuki
great.
Arai would be really good, and give the rub to Yuki Arai there. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, Yuki Aino would be good. Strawberry Tam, as we call her. So yeah, either of those matchups would be pretty cool. If they put her in a 6 man and she just has a crazy 6 man, or she has a match with Raku where they're falling asleep, I'll enjoy it. But I want to see her wrestle a tag match.
Yeah, we'll see, buddy. We'll see as the dates are getting closer. I'm sure the card is being announced because some of these matches that are being announced for this weekend over at Wrestle Kingdom. Obviously WrestleMania weekend was great for us. It was
Hmm.
great for all the meet and greets we did. You get the big show at WrestleMania. There was great matches. Don't get me wrong. They threw out the whole entire weekend. Megan Bayne versus Bozilla was a standout. Lena Cross for Suzuki. Obviously,
Hmm.
that three-way with EO at night one of WrestleMania, the three-way
Yeah.
that end our night two, the three-way that ended night one with Punk, Roman, and Rollins. But as far as what I like, and I like everything about pro wrestling, but the stuff I like the most is what happens in the ring. Myself and Rob were talking about it. Here are the matches that we were scheduled to see live. Sai Kamatani versus Soriano.
Hmm.
Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kujutsu Okada in Tanahashi's last match.
Yeah.
Sai
Oh God.
Kamatani versus Shiri. Hyper Masao versus Shoko Nakajima. Miyu Watanabe versus Suzumi. Mirai versus Sareee. 'Cause I think that's a show that we're going to.
Oof.
We're going to be yes. Whatever Pro Wrestling Noah hands out. Now I don't know if you saw what happened at the Cork and Hall show from Marigold, but we set up a few matches for First Stream. Miko Ano defending the World of Marigold Championship against Mai Sakurai. And if that doesn't get you excited enough, on the very same show, we're getting Mayu
Hmm.
Itani versus Takumi Iroha.
Ooh.
So, yeah, a lot of really great
Yeah.
stuff on tap for
All
us that
within a
week.
couple days. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I
So,
heard today that the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom has sold all 40,000 tickets. So they might add some more, but as of right now, it is sold out because Tanahashi's last match is retirement. So that's awesome. You get to see all that, and you don't have to go very far because Cork and Hall and Tokyo Dome right near each other. It's they said it's like a less than a 5 minute walk. It's kind of like walk out one, like there it is, and you walk over to the other one. So that's awesome. You get to see all that. I'm excited to see what your favorite match will be after it's all said and done.
yeah, we'll do a massive thing on Talk Joshi where usually we do our top 5 or top 10. It might be top 20. It might be
Yeah.
top 20. I'll tell you this, buddy. And I was kind of thinking about this. I really didn't like out of all the matches that are announced, I'm most excited for Shuri versus Saya Kamatani because this can
Mm-hmm.
be you mentioned sold out Tokyo Dome. I think it's like
Mm-hmm.
41,000 tickets. And I think they said they're going to open up another section soon. So they said, I know Big Dave did say that's probably going to be top out around 50,000. which will be the
Wow.
highest Wrestle Kingdom ever. Now, this is Wrestle Kingdom 20, but there's been a couple Wrestle Kingdoms where they did 2 nights. So out of like 24 or 25 Wrestle Kingdoms, it'll be the highest attended. Now, obviously, before they actually called it Wrestle Kingdom, there were some massive shows. I know
Yes.
the Inoki's retirement match against Don Fry, I think did like 71,000 people, literally the point where people were just
Wow.
standing. Because I mean,
Yeah.
that just shows you what a massive. And I don't know if you've ever seen that match, buddy. It's a 7-minute match, and you would think it's the greatest match. Like, not much happens. I know Inoki was injured. I know Don Fry did say in several interviews, and I love Don Fry. He said in several interviews he got a little excited and he punched Inoki in the ribs, and he may or may not have hurt him for real. But then if you
Oh
go,
boy.
the finish of the match is the Inoki Cobra Twist. Inoki
Hmm.
hits the Insaguri like 6 minutes in, the place goes nuts, and then he puts into the
Wow.
Cobra Twist, and it looks like a
Yeah.
little. It looks like it's a little snug. And even Don Fry said he's like, yeah, he got me. He got his receipt back on me with that Cobra Twist. Ha ha! I had a comment like it's Don Fry. So
Yeah.
legit badass. So it's going to be really cool that our first trip to the Tokyo Dome, our first Wrestle Kingdom, is going to be the highest attendant Wrestle Kingdom in the
Yeah.
20-year history of it. And Shuri versus Sai Kamitani, which is really a match that us Stardom fans have been waiting on for the last 3.5 years. And we never really, again, 2022 was such a great year for Stardom. Shuri was Red Belt champion the entire year. Sai Kamitani was Wonder champion the entire year. Obviously, both of them
Hmm.
were baby faces. But I remember whenever you would get done with the pay-per-view and both championships were defended, and you're like, who had the better match? Was it
Mm.
Shuri or Sai Kamitani? And the high-speed champion was Azumi. So a lot of times
Oh.
you'd be like, Azumi had a really good match too. And the tag champs for most of that year was either FWC or Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid. So
Wow.
yeah, really good year, buddy. Kyrie came back. Julia's run to the 5-star was on there. Yeah, Mike and Himika. 2022 is a
Mm.
really special year for Stardom. So speaking of special years, Andy Header, Sendai Girls, they're trying to be
Hmm.
promotion of the year, buddy. They're trying to be promotion of the year. As we record this, there was a show. It's going to be released on a VOD that the main event was Team 200 kg versus Shuri and Lady C. We got another
Yeah.
Sendai Girls show this weekend where the main event is Team 200 kg defending the Sendai Girls Tag Team Championships against FWC. Some loaded stuff from
Hmm.
Sendai Girls. So the next few weeks, this will be the Talk Joshi / Sendai Girls show
Sendai
because we have
Girls.
Sendai Girls Talk Joshi. Now a little disclaimer because next week is Thanksgiving, so we don't know when
Yeah.
myself and Andy are going to be able to record. Obviously, again Thursday I'll be tied up with some family stuff. I'm sure Andy as well.
Hmm.
Wednesday, I was thinking maybe we could squeeze in a Wednesday, but Wednesday, me and my dad are going to go see Zach Sabbath at the
There
Sherman
you go.
Theater in Stroudsburg. So obviously, a massive fan of Zach Wild, Black Sabbath, my favorite covering Black Sabbath. So super excited for that. So we don't know when it's going to come out. Maybe we'll record Friday, maybe Saturday. We'll keep you guys posted, but more than likely it'll be a few Sendai Girl shows that we're going to review. But that's next week. Let's talk about what we're going to be talking. We're going to be reviewing this week and right now. Andy Header,
Hmm.
we go to Cork and Hall. And this Cork and Hall was loaded. I know Sunday Girls, they usually don't announce the attendance figures for their shows. This looked pretty well sold out. I think this was
It did.
1,400. It was, and if anybody knows if they did announce an attendance, or if anybody knows, please let us know what the
Yeah.
attendance figure was. We go to Sendai Girls. We go to 11/16/2025, Corrigan Hall. This show alone is well worth your $7-8 for Wrestle Universe. This was if they put this on as a special pay-per-view for $20, I was like, yes, take my money. This is one of the best wrestling shows, top to bottom, I have seen all year. We're just saying something, Andy Header, because I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've seen like at least 7 wrestling shows this year, buddy.
At least a couple. One a month.
Yeah, I think after this, I think the Stardom show because last week myself and Rob reviewed 4 shows and we have another 4 shows. So I have 8 in just about
Wow.
8 days time. Yeah, with Stardom. So it's
Jeez.
a fun time,
Yeah. Busy time.
buddy. Yeah, in the best way possible, my man. Hey, it's Tag League, and again, this is a great show, and what a great way to start off a great show with Barbie Girl. And you had her, I'm just a Barbie girl living in a Barbie world. Opening match, Chi Chi and Soy taking on the team of Sendai
Hmm.
Girls Junior Champion Yuna and Uriah Suzuki. A really great, fun, hard-hitting back-and-forth match. But is Yuna getting the big win with the Joshi-style dropkick onto Soy for the 3 count? Buddy, I had this one at 3.5 stars. I thought this was a great way to start off this show.
I thought it was really good too. And I was like, oh, Yuna and Yura. I'm probably gonna mix them up when I talk about this match. But yeah, Chi Chi came out. I don't know how did Chi Chi get hurt where now she's wearing that mask. Did we miss that?
I think it was on a different show, like a Pro Wrestling Evo show where
Okay,
somebody
that's what
kicked
I'm
her in the
thinking.
face. Yeah, and again, folks,
Okay,
if you let
cool.
us know, if you know, please let us know what happened. But I remember reading about it. It was about a month or so ago that somebody either kicked her in the face or accidentally, hit. But she did a great
Yeah.
job, basically bedazzling the face mask.
Yes. So she has a big fancy, like almost like a masquerade mask now, and now I'm just gonna say she's probably gonna keep it longer than she needs because now it's part of the gimmick. So why not? But yeah, this match was really good. I like the part where there's three mafia kicks by Chi-Chi to Yura. There was two in the corner and then one regular one. That was really nice. There was one point where it was a double standing splash by Soy and Chi-Chi, kind of like Team T100K does, where they're both on and then they fall down. That was cool. And that was the sling blade by Yuna to Soy, and then the missile drop kick. There you go, the Joshi one, 1, 2, 3. That's all she wrote. I gave it three and a quarter stars. It was a really solid opener. I really liked it. I didn't like it quite as much as you, but that's okay because it was a solid opener to a very good show.
And he had a match number two. We go to the finals of the Jaja Uma
Mm-hmm.
tournament as Senka Akatsuki representing Marvelous, taking on Spike Nishimori representing Sendai Girls. And I remember when they announced this tournament, I was looking at the brackets and I was like, either Senka or Spike's going to win. And then
Yeah.
as we're kind of going further, I was like, okay, Sanka's going to beat Yuna. That's going to give her an opportunity to challenge Yuna for the belt. Yuna will get her win back. Spike's going to win the tournament. Spike's going to wind up defeating Yuna for the junior championship. That's the way in my mind, I thought it was going to go. I'm like, it makes sense because you set up two big matches for Yuna back to
Mm-hmm.
back. Handy head, I was wrong. That's okay because I love me some
Yeah.
Sanka. Great back and forth, great hard hitting match. Match ends with Sanka with a huge lariat and then going to a new move, the top rope
Yeah.
frog splash, hitting
Frog
this
splash.
beautiful frog splash, putting away Spike. Really terrific match. This whole tournament was great. A really great final to end the tournament. I thought this was genius putting this on one of their biggest and best shows of the
Mm-hmm.
year. It's a great highlight for not only Sanka, but even Spike in a loss. I had this at 3 3/4 stars. After the match, Sanka then does challenge Yuna for the junior championship. So we're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
that match somewhere down the line, somewhere soon, maybe on that show on 12/28, maybe on the U retirement show on
Mm,
12/28.
that's a good
That's
one.
probably where I would put it. But I thought this was great. Sanka getting a great win here. Spike looked terrific, as always. 3 3/4 stars for me.
Yeah, this one was good and surprising win here. I'll just get right to it. I thought Spike was winning, like we talked about before. We thought Spike was winning for sure. Then Sega hits that clothesline. I'm like, okay. And then she goes up top, and then she hits the frog splash. I'm like, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, oh, Sega won. And hey, that's okay. I like Sega. I love that she's a '90s Josie. Like they took her. She was a trainee in 1991, and they took her with a time machine. And they dropped her here in 2025, and we get her because she does old school moves. She does like at the one part where she did a body slam. That was a near fall. I'm like, genius. Why not? If it works, why not? So yeah, Senko winning here, a little bit surprised, but I like it. And then her versus Yuna, maybe we see a title switch there to really get some momentum behind Senka. But this match was very good. I like Spike. Spike will be okay. I did like that it started with a test of strength, so you don't see that too much in Joshi wrestling. But this match, I gave it 3.5 because it was very good, and this show just keeps getting better.
Andy Header, we have to have our comedy match, right? Well,
Hmm.
somewhat. Shin Hirota comes out dressed as Chihiro Hashimoto because this is
Yeah.
the 10th anniversary. This is a celebration of Chihiro Hashimoto, 10th anniversary in pro wrestling. She comes out dressed up like one Chihiro Hashimoto, and she's taking on two absolute killers in you and Aja
Yeah.
Khan. It's always great seeing Aja Khan in a ring for several. You get nostalgia. She's still great, but you get also electric eye, buddy. You also get
Yeah.
electric eye. So
Oh, that's the best part. Get a little Judas Priest.
this was fun. You had kind of a really good chop battle with Aj and you, and that's a match. I know obviously you's retiring here in about 5 weeks' time. I would like to see that somewhere down the line. The Shin stuff I thought fit in really well with the Killers, but ultimately this was just a comedy match. And the ending really confused me. I didn't understand. It looked like there was a double pin, and they're like, Aja won.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe she won because she had the better theme music. I don't know. That's the way I'm
Yeah.
going with it. I gave this one the gentleman's 3 stars. It had its place in this because this was a great pro wrestling show, with a lot of hard hitting wrestling. And
Hmm.
sometimes you need that different match that's going to stand out. Is basically, as Jim Ross would say, your let up match. And this was a
Hmm.
let up match before we go to the next fantastic match we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it definitely was. But hey, Shin looked great here coming out as fake Chihiro, and I liked how her wig had mop strings in it for Chihiro's colored things. So that was pretty cool. And she had her face like her anger was like painted on. So that was pretty cool. And she was like trying to do Chihiro things. She would do her pose and everything, but obviously nothing would work out because she's against Aja Kong and you had her Wolverine gear on here. Excuse me. Ah. But anyway, it was a little confusing with the end because it's kind of like that with that DDT match where like it was like Raku pinning the belt, but then the hero was on top of Raku, so it was kind of like, I just kind of pinning her, but then not. So like it kind of didn't make a sense. I gave it the Gentleman's 3 stars even too. It was fun to watch. I'd like to see a singles with Aja Kong and you, even though Aja Kong's age. So we might get that because she's retiring soon. So who knows? But yeah, I'm right with you. 3 stars even, a fun match, and it was kind of the let me up match or the popcorn match, as someone called
Anyhow, what is not a pop? If anything, this was a match. If you had popcorn, you're throwing at your TV because it was so damn good,
it.
so damn good.
Yes.
I will get out my one little negative about this match and the other tag match that we're gonna talk about. I wish it had more time. I
Hmm.
just they were both great. I wish it had more time because it was so good. So good. We got Natsupoi and Aya Sakura representing Cosmic Angels taking on Miyamomo and Eureka Oka. This was had everything. It had hard hitting, great teamwork.
Hmm.
You had the high speed style wrestling. We got the return of drop kick, drop kick, drop kick, drop kick, drop kick,
Yep.
drop kick, drop kick, drop kick.
Alternating.
And then the big finish is the big double drop kick. And I love the psychology behind that. We talked about the last time we reviewed a Bob Moment banana match because you're getting hit with 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet. And like, where's this going to end? And it has to end on a big spot and ends on one single double drop kick because as much as you're
Hmm.
getting hit with 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, it's 1 4 feet. So I'm like, that makes sense. I don't mean 4 feet tall or two
Hmm.
by four, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean it's the double drop kick one time. And I'm like, that needs to be a staple. My guess it's going to be a staple in every Bob Moment banana match because it's really
Yeah.
cool and it makes sense. Really great build up to the Pharaoh ring. We have Aya hitting like the super kick and the head kick, trying to get trying to get
Hmm.
Natsupoi to get the Pharaoh ring on Oka. Oka gets out. Miyamoto comes in. Miyamoto, there's one spot in this match where it looks like Natsupoi has the pin, and Mio just comes off the top rope and just absolutely squishes Natsupoi. Which, if it
Hmm.
squished Natsupoi, what did it do to her partner? Like, because she's all the way down on the bottom. Like, I get it. You
Yeah.
broke up the pin. It's just like I get, but like, eventually, though, we do see Aya hits a top rope knee strike, almost very much like the old Dickie Murdoch Gravedigger, onto
Yep.
Eureka Oka, and that opens up the door for Natsupoi to go back to the Pharaoh ring, putting away Eureka Oka. Again, great match. I just wish this had more time. This was terrific. 4.25 stars for me.
Yeah, this was really good, and I thought that too when it ended. I'm like, yeah, we could have probably got a couple more minutes out of this. It was so good, especially the drop kicks. I even wrote down 6 drop kicks by Eureka, then 4 by Mio, then 2 more by each of them where they alternate, and then the double at the end. So how many was that? Like 12 total. The drop kick assault. I love seeing that by him. There was a point where they pulled the old throw the banana hat in the ring, and Natsupoi slipped on it. That was
Sold
cool. I
it.
like
The
when
way
they
she
did it.
sold
Yeah,
it.
and she sold it. Yeah. Slips on the hat and that's great. There was the a deadlift suplex by Eureka that looked really cool where she picked up Natsupoi and just kind of just held her and then hit her with the suplex. The Twisted Bliss by Eureka, which is the Ferial Gift. Um, where am I at here? As I totally lose my place here. Yeah, I wrote down the fatal gift. Oh yeah, the double stop I wrote down to break it up, and that looked crazy. The double kick by Mio, by Poi, and Aya there, and there was a couple close roll ups, and then there was a super kick to Rika by Natsupoi looked brutal, and then a jumping knee off the top there by Aya, that looked great, and then the Ferial ring at to Eureka 1 2 3. That's all she wrote. I too gave it 4.25 stars. This match was really good, and more please. And we need that Bob Momo Banana versus Sayori Poi.
Oh, oh, I'll take
Nothing.
Bubba Banana
Yeah,
versus
yeah,
anybody. Like keep
yeah. Nothing
Aya
against Aya
Sayaka.
Sakura, but that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you been? I know this is. I completely forgot to ask you. Have you? Are you? Have you? How much of the tag league have you watched? I know there's
Only,
there's 8
yeah,
matches. There's 8 shows so far. I mean, they're burning
yeah,
right
only
through it.
clips so far. I'm kind of just keeping up on Twitter to see what's happening.
Wait
So
till
yeah, I
you
haven't watched.
I'll tell you. I'll let you know what the must-see matches are. Like everything's
Okay,
been really good because it started, but like there's always those matches like stop what you're doing and watch. I'll let you
yeah,
know. Everything's been really good. Hina and Rana are making a great team, and Yuna and May are having a great team. I would like to see Yuna and May versus
really.
Bob Mama Banana.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's where I would go. That's where I
I
would go.
know that you and Rob were calling 0-2 line to win it, and they haven't been winning too much. So who wins it? Is it that new mystery tag team that fooled me? Maybe it is.
It could be. It
Yeah.
could be Mr. Andy Header. Speaking of which, they're doing the same thing with Shoko Nakajima. I guess
Yes, I
she
heard
pulled
that.
off a show, and it's going to be a mystery person. Yeah, thanks to Andy Zyke over Tokyo Joshi Pod. I heard that, and I'm like,
Hmm.
it just seems like I wouldn't be shocked if Mina Shirakawa does the same thing because she was in CMLL too. So
Ah,
maybe, yeah. I mean, I think it might just be something with Shoko and FWC. I'm like, that's kind of funny. I get the rib.
yeah.
Um, Indie Header moving along. We get hard hitting action at its finest. Maria, one half of
Hmm.
Magenta, representing Marvelous, taking on Dash Chisako. Man, this was right up my alley. Hard hitting. You need a feeling out process. This wasn't like unbelievably like a great spectacle as far as the holds and the beauty that's pro wrestling. That is the match that we just
Hmm.
talked about. This was, you knew what you're gonna get. Maria's a very great hard hitting wrestler, and Dash Chisako is as well. Really terrific stuff. Again, this is another match. I wish it would have got 2 or 3 minutes longer. But this was excellent stuff. Maria, who uses the Excalibur as her finisher, that high angle Mijinoko driver. It's great because Dash Chisako uses it on her, and then she goes to the top rope to hit her big move, the frog splash. So I never have an
Hmm.
issue of a wrestler stealing another person's finisher as long as they back it up with something that the crowd knows that they're going to do. So it's like Dash hits Maria with her finisher, but then goes to the top rope with that
Yeah.
beautiful frog splash, which is Dash's finisher. Really great match. I'd love to see these two run it back with maybe about 2 or 3 minutes added on. But this was great. Hard hitting, right up my alley. Great back and forth match. Didn't know which way it was going to go. But again, Dash getting the win with that beautiful top rope frog splash. 3 and 3/4 stars for me.
Wow. Yeah, I thought this match was good. I too thought it was a little short. When it ended, I was like, oh, that's it. Like, kind of expected a few more minutes, but I get it. There was a cool spot where they were doing alternating claymores. I don't know what they call it, but it was pretty cool how Dash hits one, then Maria hits two for a near fall. That was pretty cool. And then they were balling the crowd and everything, so they had a little bit of that wild, chaotic stuff there. And like right in the beginning, Maria just immediately attacks her with a drop kick, with knees and a drop kick right away. So yeah, this match was good. I gave it 3.5. It was a good match. Didn't like it quite as much as you, but I'd like to see it again with maybe a couple more minutes, maybe like 3 more minutes.
Yeah, really good. More Maria in Sendai Girls. Let's
Hmm.
get Maria and Rico in Sendai. Let's get a little
Yeah,
let's get a little
magenta. Why
magenta. Let's
not?
get magenta Bob Bob Mama Banana. Magenta
There we go.
maybe versus these two teams we're going to talk about. Takumi
Ooh,
Rohan and Veni, which I don't think they've teamed up quite a bit, taking on one of
no.
my favorite tag teams in all of I almost said in all of energy, in all of wrestling, Red
All
Energy,
of energy. There's energy
all of
here.
energy, baby. Miyuki Takase and Miko Wada. Okay.
Yeah.
Miyuki Takase was great. Viveni was
Hmm.
great. This match was great. Miko Wada and Takumi Iroha. Oh, like you kind of knew what you're gonna get, and then when it happened, you're like, yeah, yeah, this was great. The kicks, the fire. There's not only that, but it's the selling. It's not only the hard hitting stuff that I like, it's the way that somebody sells. Like you go
Hmm.
back and watch those all Japan matches in the 90s, like the way that Kawada would just sell Masao and Kabashi's offense. And then like the way he would fire his comeback. That's what we got a lot of in this match, where
Hmm.
you would see just Mika Wada taking these kicks from Takumi Roha and then to and then Mika Wada bringing it back. And then it was just great tag team wrestling. Obviously, Red Energy, they have the tag team advantage here. There was great stuff, but this match is like they're shot out of a cannon. Again, this is another match that I wish it went a little bit longer, but they maximize every second. Like we get Miko Wan and Takumi Roha, they start trading the low kicks, and then they tag out. We get Veni and Mika Takase. Great stuff there. The match spills out to the floor, and Veni's like, I'm gonna hit the moonsault. And the match just
Yeah.
builds and builds and builds. Eventually, though, we do get the finish of Veni hitting a Northern Lights bomb onto Miko Iwata, and then Veni hitting the top rope moonsault on the Mikawada. Very surprised. I figured this would have been a Red Energy win, considering they're the
Yes,
normal
all right.
tag team here. But this was a pleasant surprise. Maybe they run it back, but this was great. I had it 4.25 stars. Just a really terrific match, and what ultimately is one of my favorite shows of the year.
Yeah, I'm right with it. I give it 4.25 too. I like how Venny can tag up with anybody, and it's a good tag team. Like her and Lena Cross, what was the her and
Chihiro
the
Hashimoto.
Sardinism. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
good there. like her and anybody is just immediately a good tag team. When she wrestled and her and Brazilla at the last Sareee, great there. Yeah, this match was very good. I like like you said, the kicks between Miku and Takumi were really great, especially the one kick combo that she hit that looked really good. We got the Gato clutch here, and that was nice, and the German suplex by Takumi here. The return crash looked really good on Vina, or Vinny. Jeez, I can't
Benny.
read my own notes. Yeah, it's so hard. Everything's bloated. I like the one Liger bomb to Vinny, but that Mika hit, that was really nice. Then the Shining Wizard for the near fall near the end. That it was almost like a kind of like a snowplow that Mika hit on Vinny, and then the top or by sorry, by Vinny to Miku. That's Mika, and then top row moonsault, which was kind of surprising. I didn't think, I know that she was a finisher, but I kind of expected someone to break it up or kick out there, and that was the end. So yeah, this one could have used a couple more minutes, but still was really good. 4.25 stars.
Yeah, again, really great stuff. Really great stuff. And then now I didn't watch this show live. This show was Sunday. I didn't think I got to this till Tuesday. I've been just super, super busy. But everyone was like, wait till you see Sareee versus Chihiro Hashimoto. Wait till so this match was built up quite a bit. And I was like, okay, like obviously I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna go right to this match because I want to see the rest of the show and the way that the show built, which was great. So we get to the main event. Sendai, I completely forgot this was for the Sendai Girls Championship just
So
because of
did
the
I. Yeah.
just because of this rivalry Hashimoto and Sareee has, and it's Chihiro Hashimoto's 10th anniversary show. I'm like, oh, we're gonna make the stakes even more. What was great about this? Again, you have a loaded Cork and Hall, right? I mean, packed Cork and Hall. Chihiro Hashimoto comes out with like the flags, and it makes
Mm-hmm.
it feel even important. And then Sareee gets her entrance with a really cool theme, and everybody's chanting her name because it's not Stardom, so everybody loves her. Excuse me. Obviously, Stardom they love to hate her, but like she gets the big
Yes.
reaction. Then Chihiro Hashimoto has the big pomp and circumstance entrance because it is her 10th anniversary show. And this match got time to tell the story. It was great stuff back and forth. Didn't know which way it was going to go. The way that Sareee does those double stomps, outside of
Mm-hmm.
Azumi, I think she does the best ones in wrestling. But hers are a little different because she can do. We've seen Azumi do the double stomps to the arm to set up for the numero uno. But the way that Sareee will do like
Mm-hmm.
the dragon screw leg whip, and then she goes to the second rope and then does this double stomp to the leg, and then does a knee bar, and then builds it back up to get to like another double stomp or a double stomp off the apron, which we saw in Chihiro Hashimoto. Like she does the double stomps a lot, but they're different variations, and the psychology behind it's different. Like again, we see, and then she does the running one where the person's like sitting
Mm-hmm.
up. It's the only person I've ever seen does it. Like she does, like the person's kind of in a sit up position. She does the running one, like it's just so great. And then she hits just the series of Uranagis, and then she hits the hammerlock
Yes.
Uranagi, which I don't know if anybody's ever
I never.
kicked out of before.
Yeah.
Eventually, Hashimoto, the big lariat, the big spear, just the massive power bombs, and then the stalling Albright. So I love it how she had her and she made her wait and wait. Not only
Yep.
made her wait, but made the crowd wait. Like,
Yeah.
and then just snaps
Boom.
Sareee back, hits it. This is great. This is just another great match in the catalog. That's Sareee. And if Chihiro Hashimoto, take a step back, we talk about the greatest women's wrestlers in wrestling right now, and the list is huge. Io,
Mm-hmm.
Starlight Kid, Kamatani, Momo Watanabe, Azumi, Starlight Kid. I always say you got to throw Konami and Suzu Suzuki in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Sareee as well, Mayu Utami. We got to put your Hashimoto in that top 12,
Yeah.
top 15. Like this, the tag stuff that she's doing. And again, more than likely next week, guys, we're going to be covering the two Sendai Girl shows, which the two main events are Team 200 kg, which Shiro Hashimoto is a part of, to take on Lady C and
Mm-hmm.
Shuri. I'm sure that match that happened earlier today was somewhat above average. And then the
Yeah.
wrestling FWC. So not only is a
Yeah.
singles
Come
wrestler, but
on.
a tag wrestler as well. You got to put Chihiro Hashimoto in the top 10, top 12, top 15 as the best women wrestler going right now, which again is saying something considering the fact how loaded women's professional wrestling is, not just in
Mm-hmm.
Japan, but around the horn as well. Andy Header, this is 5 stars for me. This is
Wow.
5 stars. This is one of the best matches I've seen of the year. Again, when I do my YouTube segment, which everybody should watch, guys, it's free. When I do my top 5 favorite matches this week, again, we're a few days away from Saturday. It's gonna be a tough one to beat, buddy. This one is going to be a tough one to beat. This is 5 stars. This was absolutely fantastic. Hard hitting, professional wrestling, great psychology, great roller coaster of emotions, great storytelling that they took you on with Chihiro Hashimoto getting the big win over her, pretty much her forever rival in one Sareee. Again, 5 stars for me, partner.
Wow. Yeah. I thought this match was really good. I knew going in it was gonna be pretty good. I know you were saying about Chihiro Hashimoto being like one of the top women's wrestlers. I wonder what she got in the women's 250. I'm sure she was listed. I don't know. We are gonna probably do a show where we go through and pick all the Joshis out and talk about them. But for now, anyway, she's not only a great singles wrestler, but she's a great tag wrestler, which is hard to do. I know a lot of people if they're one or the other, but she's doing both. So yeah, she is at the top. And like you said before, but I forgot this was for the belt. I was like, it's a singles match. Who cares? It'll be great. I forgot it was for the belt. I'm like, oh, it's for the belt. But yeah, she retains here. But yeah, there was a lot here going on that was just really good. There's a power bomb float over by Sareee, which was really good. And then like you said, that diving double stomp. I like when she does that. Her double stomps always look so vicious too. And I even stole when she does double stomp to the leg and then hits in a leg submission. That's really cool. There was the wheelbarrow suplex by Chihiro that not many people do. I like that. And then Sareee hits the Uranagi but can't get the pin. And there's lots of stiff hits here. Like all the hits look great. Then even they were doing the back and forth, and then the headbutts by Sareee. Then the two lariats by Chihiro for a near fall. Then there was the double power bomb by Chihiro, which how many times you see that when she does the one, picks back up, hits the second one. That was awesome. Sareee kicked out of that. Another wheelbarrow suplex. And then Sareee hits not one, not two, not three, but four Uranagis on Chihiro, and then finally the hammerlock one, and she kicks out of that, and then she hits that deadlift stalling German 1, 2, 3. Chihiro beats Sareee. This match was great. I didn't give it quite 5, but almost there, 4.75 stars. This match was great. A great main event to a great show.
Andy Hedda, we have had the privilege of talking about and reviewing Sendai Girls shows for the last handful of episodes.
Hmm.
If you take out recency biased, and I know we watch a lot of wrestling, is this the best start to finish Sendai Girls show that you've seen?
You know, it might be. I know we've seen some ones that like the matches were just killer, like the last 2 or 3. But then the first ones were, a solid opener and then kind of okay. And there was that one show where like the whole middle of the pay awesome, and the first match was awesome because Natsupoi was in it. So yeah, for being quality overall, this might be the best one overall that we've at least that we've seen since we've reviewed for the past year.
I'm assuming the main event was your favorite match from the show.
Yeah, the main event and then the Bob Bob Momo Banana match is probably my second favorite, just because they were
That
good.
was that was going to end. So number 3 is probably Red Energy versus
Yeah,
Venue.
yeah,
Okay.
only by process of elimination. Yeah,
Because I was gonna say obviously a majority of the fan base, and you can like what you like. You can like
yeah,
I thought Shin Aja Kong and you was my favorite match because that's the style. Like there's
hey,
nothing
yeah,
wrong with that. So I think a majority of the fan base had Sareee and Chihiro Hashimoto as number 1, but I was just curious to see what your number 2 was because that's a tough one. And I had them both 4.25 stars.
yeah,
My complaint was if they got 2 or 3 minutes longer to stretch out the story, that would have been closer to the 4.5 to 5 stars. I think I liked Red Energy versus Takumi and Benny just a tad better. If you ask me tomorrow, it might be a different answer, which is a good
hmm,
problem to have because it's just like that's how
yeah,
good it was. But when you have a show where your top 3 matches are Sareee versus Chihiro Hashimoto, Bob Bob Momo Banana versus Natsupoi and Aya Sakura, and then Takumi Roha and Benny taking on Red Energy. And then, oh, by the way, we had Senka versus Spike on the show,
Spike, yeah,
Dash versus Maria on the show. You had your comedy match, and then you had a really great tag opener to start that show with Chi Chi Soy, Yuna, and Uriah Suzuki. Pretty damn good show.
yeah.
Pretty damn good show. No English commentary on this one, though.
No, which was a little upsetting. Put it on. There's no English. I know Sendai has some English commentary. It's hit or miss, but maybe they will add it then. But hopefully they'll get around to having English commentary. But hey, I know 2 people that would do it. So yeah, Sendai guys, Miko call us. Anyway, yeah, it was still a good show even without English commentary.
Yeah, I talked to a friend of the show, an all-along great guy, Tom Fain, who does commentary for a lot of the different Wrestle Universe shows. And I asked him, I think it was that Saturday. I think I asked him before you came over to the house. I said, "Hey, you doing commentary for the Sendai Girls show tomorrow?" He's like, "No, but I'll be doing commentary for the Cork and Hall show on Monday." And I was like, "Oh yeah, Marigold is running
Hmm.
Cork and Hall." He's like, "Yeah, it's really weird that Wrestle Universe they're not doing English commentary for Sendai Girls, but they're doing it again for Marigold." I'm like, I think you guys Sendai Girls would have benefited a lot from the English
Yeah,
commentary because we've seen it obviously Marigold, we've seen it a lot on Tokyo Joshi Pro, which we do need because it's not straightforward wrestling, some of their matches. So we do need to,
matches.
the English commentary does help, which by the way, from what I understand, that Tokyo Joshi Pro did a show at a bookstore and I think that it was Rika fell asleep, and then one of the books she was reading became the DDT Iron Man heavyweight champion. So
That's awesome. Who will ever beat the book?
yeah, who knows? Who knows? Andy Header, my good friend.
And
Before we
that's
close
who's
this
gonna
one
beat the
out,
book.
yes, we have to end this on the strongest note possible.
Hmm.
This was a great wrestling show. We had a lot of winners,
Hmm.
a lot of losers, but most importantly, Andy Header. Who won? Andy Header's best gear
Hmm.
and Andy Header's best hair.
Yeah, the most important thing of all of wrestling, forget the PWI 250 that just came out. This is what the women want to win. So for best hair, I'm gonna give it to Takumi Iroha with her gray mullet. I know it's not her natural hair, but her gray hair just it's almost silverish. It looked really cool here. She has the mullet going on, and it looked really cool. So Takumi Iroha gets best hair. And for best gear, a lot of people were wearing older gear. I don't think anyone had new stuff, but someone had newer stuff. So I got to give best gear to Sareee with her silver and red gear. It looks really good. And I think that's like probably like their third or fourth time wearing it. But yeah, I think she debuted at this Ariism show, or maybe it started, I forget. But yeah, Sareee wins best gear, and Takumi Iroha wins best hair.
Yeah, she did. I believe she debuted at the Sareee show just about 2 weeks ago, which we reviewed on episode Talk Joshi
Mm-hmm.
23 Attack of the Killer Bees. Andy Header,
Yeah.
not listen to anything else you want to talk about, good sir. Do you want to plug your stuff and tag me in and call this one an episode?
Oh, real quick, I did see some highlights between Mayu Iwatani and the new 15-year-old wrestler. I forget her name, but
Coco,
she looks
Coco.
really good. Yeah, so if she keeps with wrestling, she's gonna be very good. So I got to go back and watch that whole match, but that was quite impressive.
Watch that. I would watch the main event of Miko Ano versus Chikagoto, and I would
Okay.
definitely. I mean, the whole show was really good, but if
Hmm.
you're strapped for time, my favorite match of the show was the tag title match with Yuzuki and Sarah Yamaoka versus Misa Matsui and Chiaki.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Also, now Ishikawa my Sakurai had like, and just an insane wild match. That whole Marigold Corkin show, start to finish, was terrific. But if you're strapped for time, the tag match was my favorite match of the show, and Mayu versus
Okay.
Coco. That'll be more up your alley because more of the lucha fast,
Yeah,
really, really, really great stuff. But the whole show was terrific. But yeah, when you get a chance,
I'll
watch
have
it.
to check it out.
Yeah, watch it, and then maybe we'll talk about it again. Obviously, myself and Rob, we covered
Yeah,
that show on the
on my
Marigold Standard
report.
earlier this week. But if you do watch it, Andy Header, we can try to we'll shoehorn your review in onto Talk
Sure.
Joshi episode 25. We're still
Still
alive. I
alive?
don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
25 talking jive.
Yeah, oh my
Yeah,
god, like
yeah,
a
yeah.
slickster,
There we go.
like the slickster. There
Yeah, there
you
we go.
go.
We'll get the slick music playing. Yeah, jazz sobro.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I probably plan on watching that because that was pretty impressive there. But hey, as I can't talk here, let's land this bird, as they like to say. If you want to find me on the social media, Facebook, Instagram, I am Andy Header. At Blue Sky, I'm AH24, and at Twitter, X, whatever you like to call it, I am at Get Some Header, pun intended.
Folks, questions, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and best way to get a hold of me. Also, don't forget to follow our new Twitter page
Mm-hmm.
at Talk Joshi 2025, where I give my star ratings every Friday and Saturday for all of the Joshi and women's professional wrestling matches. Also, folks, don't forget next week with the holidays, we don't know when we're going to record and what's going to be on the schedule. But obviously, if you're subscribing to this podcast, which you should, once
Mm-hmm.
it's recorded and up, you'll get the notification. Myself and Andy will be talking about more than likely some Sendai Girls and maybe
Mm-hmm.
some Tokyo Joshi Pro. Which, by the way, folks, we are scheduled again. If the stars line up, myself, Andy Header, and Andy Zyke from the Tokyo Joshi Prod. Before I
Mm-hmm.
leave to go to Japan, we're going to be previewing that big show on in Corkin Hall on January 4th. So we just have to just get the schedules situated sometime before Christmas or maybe a day after Christmas. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how everything works out. Cards subject to change, as they always say in professional wrestling. But Andy Header,
Mm-hmm.
if you do not want to get a hold of me on the social medias, I have an email address that you can get
Oh,
a hold of
what
me
is
at.
it?
Oh, I will tell you, good sir. You ask, I will give you an answer. The email address simply is the StardomCast 22
22.
at gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for another fantastic episode of Talk Joshi. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do without you. It's like I always say, just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because we're all together, everybody's different. Everybody's special.